really thrive from the patriarchy because we don't own a lot of things. There's a as anything like we've owned like really majorly, like we done sold it like BET. We done sold that to Viacom. Now Viacom is owned by a bunch of white people. Like the mom and pop stores. There's plenty of times where in neighborhoods they had mom and pop stores. They was owned by that was owned by black men, but bought out by big business. And you know what they say, big bank take little bank to make a Walmart or whatever the fuck they was gonna build, a supermarket or whatever the fuck, or Amazon building, whatever the fuck you see that. You see that I seen it in jobs where like since growing up, there's a lot of jobs that black men used to have, like factory working jobs and any job that like works with your hands, they've been outsourced or not. Yeah, especially like factory jobs, you've been outsourced to other countries, so that's taken a lot of black men out of jobs, especially like consistent jobs where you can at least feed your family out of it. And anybody knows that black with because of black men's testosterone, we're more likely to want to build stuff, want to work with our hands and all that other stuff. That's where most of our creative juices really start flowing in, like building things or like inventing things and all that other stuff. With black women, and the reason why I say I think black women thrives from this because, like I said, when you look at the unemployment rate from black men and black women, until now, the last time I checked, until now, it was always like black women was 2%. It was like a 4 point something when it came to unemployment rate to like 6 point something where it came to men. Like there was more unemployed black men than it was black women. Black women was getting jobs. Black women are now, there are more scholarships for women in general, especially for black women, than there are for black men. Uh, um, they're getting more jobs, especially a lot of secretarial jobs where like some men even struggle to get like janitor jobs because there's not that many. But there's a whole lot of secretarial jobs. No. Now, don't get me wrong, black women still like it's a patriarchy, so they're not going to thrive on as much as they can. But I feel like, in my opinion, they've always gone some more, like especially when it comes to getting an education, getting bachelor's degrees and master's degrees. A lot of men, some school ain't for everybody. Anybody, we've all been to school. We know that school ain't for everybody, and like trades, when trades used to be a big thing in high school, especially like carpentry and welding and plumbing, they took that out of high school. Now you got people just sitting there and trying to learn stuff. And I know me, this is just me speaking personally. I didn't mind school, but I would tell you like this: if I wasn't interested in a topic, I was not interested. Like no amount of teaching could make me interested. You have to make like stuff really interesting for me. So now, with that saying, I'm not saying that black women are better than us when it comes to this patriarchy, because like they still have to go through their bullshit, like not wearing their natural hair, or they have to code switch because you can't be your natural self in the workplace. You gotta speak the white man. I don't want to say the white, yeah, speak the white man's language. Sometimes you gotta look less intimidating, and both black people go through it. So this is why I tell like black women, when it comes to like this patriarchy, black men don't benefit this at all because one, we don't own anything, and everything that we make is either destroyed or taken over by white America. And like history done proved that the black woman. It's funny you say like most African countries are matriarchy. I feel like a lot of black communities are matriarchal as well, especially when the Black Panthers, when they was doing their things, and they can tell you like when they was trying to show people like they can take care of a community, they started WIC for women and children. And most people don't know that WIC came from the Black Panthers. There's a lot of good ideas that like black men has made, for the safety of black women. I feel like we do a lot as black men. We do a lot of sacrifices for black women so they can do what they need to do. As far and when it comes to like jobs and women, a lot of black, especially in this day and age, a lot of black women are more financially stable than black men. And in this, especially in this day and age, A lot of black women, like all the black women I know, they're getting their bachelor's degrees, they're getting their masters, they're trying to they're starting their own businesses and all that other stuff. And there are loans for them that they can do that. Like when you want to go to school, there are specific scholarships for women that a lot of men do not get. That you can like work two jobs and still go to school. And I see it a lot for women, but I really don't see it for men a lot. And I've always wondered that. But and then you got, welfare. I can understand what welfare is for, but in order for you to have welfare, the black man does not need to can't be in the house. So, you can't be relying on the government and relying on black men. So you gotta like kick the black man out for you to get welfare and something like that. If people wonder that's why black men are kind of against welfare, that's why. The whole Section 8 process, and also like the Section 8 projects, men are killing men. That's why they have gangs and all that other stuff. And a lot of men are taking out the jobs, the prison systems, the crack areas, and all that other stuff. It took a lot of black men out. So women, especially black women, they had to be reliant on themselves. So that's why like our women, when it comes to black women specifically, they're more independent than I would say any other race of women. And that's why like them being submissive is kind of like really few in between, because they've always had to do for themselves because of the way this patriarchal society done put on us and the way it's treated black men. So in my opinion, I know it's an unpopular opinion, but I'm not blaming black women, but I've always said that I feel like in this era and going on, I feel like black women will succeed more into this patriarchal society than black men would. What y'all think? Am I right or wrong about that?
Okay, so I've heard what you said, and you make a lot of really good points on your assertion. And I also want to piggyback off that and say that I would say that's the reason why a lot of white women feminists always like get black women to join their fight and shit. And they try to make it seem like, oh no, it's not just our issue, it's y'all issues too. When like there's always been a history of like when black men are doing shit, black women are right there putting their work along with the black men. So it's like when did we get to a point where black women needed feminism to get shit done to fix anything that supposedly the black man is complicit of? Even
I've been saying this for years.
Yeah.
Not to cut you off, I've been saying this for years. Black women never needed feminism, and I know a lot of women like to bait me at this, and they're black feminists. But I was like, there's no point. Like, when have men has ever told black women what to do? And even black women said that. When have black men ever told black women what to do? Especially when like you're the ones doing it. Like a lot of people say like, when black women, make more, men are intimidated. It's like we're not intimidated. Sometimes like you're a neurosurgeon. I might work at Foot Locker. I'm not gonna tell you not to work. And anybody who does that is probably less of a man anyway. Like my ego is not gonna especially with trying to raise a family, my ego is not gonna stop you from working. Go ahead, Father.
Yeah, you just said it right there. I mean, like we not trying to take anything away from black women. Like even like you can like even if men like because yeah there is misogyny, like black men do participate in misogyny and shit like that, but it would never, I feel like it would never get to a point where we as a collective of black men want to take anything away from black women, or we collectively as black men say, oh no, you can't do this, you can't do that, you need to stay home and cook. I don't think any black man on a collective level did that to the women. We like, because like if you look at our history, our women was always like right beside us when we was going to war. Like, bro, you can find so many examples of black women just putting in work along with black men that's putting in work, and then to make a stable society. But as soon as we got out of slavery and shit like that, and then they started purposefully putting us in ghettos and purposely making sure we didn't have access to wealth and purposely making sure that certain narratives were perpetuated. Like, think about this for a second. Like, they had our babies with that doll test. They had our babies saying the white doll is more beautiful than the black doll. So they're not gonna give a fuck about our relationships with our women. So they perpetuate these little narratives to have us divided against each other, and it works. And it works because a lot of people, a lot of black people who don't have that warrior spirit, or a lot of black people who's been really broken down, they subscribe to them things. And then you got certain black men that's in Men Go Their Own Way, which is like a whole bunch of white incels that that are undesirables and can't even spit games for a woman anyway. You got black men in those. You got black women that literally hate black men and start little communities and start YouTube channels about how black man ain't shit and black man ain't this and black man ain't that. Go get you a zaddy. You know what I'm saying? I've experienced this firsthand. I've experienced this firsthand, especially in a lot of African communities. In Nigeria, there was a movie called White Hunters, where there was just a whole bunch of Nigerian women that purposefully went to go look for white husbands, or husbands who weren't Nigerian or black, because they wanted money and they wanted status, and they equated that to men that's not of their race or of their tribe and shit.